Welcome to the American Diversity Report podcasts. I'm Deborah Levine, editor-in-chief of the American Diversity Report, and your host for these podcasts. Today, I have a wonderful friend I'd love to introduce to you and have you hear her story, Mary Angela Moore. She is a professional leadership and entrepreneurship trainer, the author of the book From Passion to Profit, the total guidebook for new and aspiring entrepreneurs. She was CEO of English with Mary Moore LLC for more than a decade and has trained employees from international institutions, including Hyatt Regency in Dubai, Samsung, South Korea, Holy Cross Seminary, Vietnam, Silk Road Financial Services, New York, Mendoza Winery, Argentina, Canada Rotary Club Global, Women Empowerment NGO, China, and Department of Education, Philippines. Yes, she's gotten around quite a bit. Welcome, Mary.
Oh my God. I'm overwhelmed by that introduction. And I couldn't believe I had done all those things. It was as though I was just like seated beside my window and thinking of how I would be able to manage, family life. I got widowed early. So I was thinking like how, at that time, how I would be able to manage bringing up two children and manage career and education for myself and for them. And it was as though it was just yesterday. And I don't know how I made it. I don't even know how I did it.
Well, I know that you are persistent, that's for sure, and energetic, and you have devoted yourself, right, to doing so much in this business world. So tell us a little bit about that and how, as a woman in a business world that it was largely male, that you progressed.
Well, looking back, honestly, I don't really know. what can I say? Well, okay, how did I progress? Okay. Um, mm, well, I think physical appearance helps. Okay. But it's okay, physical appearance helps, but it's only the facade. So, so you have to have the content, knowledge, the wisdom, and all these preparations that it would entail for one to succeed in a male dominated world. I remember what my grandmother had told me before. She always used to tell me that, like outward beauty is just an icing to the cake. What is more important is the foundation of the cake, which is the dough. So you must have, a lot of doughs with you. And that would, she would always tell me to develop at least 3 solid skills, life skills, and then career skills. And she was a role model for persistence, um, generosity, because we cannot succeed without being generous. Um, she was a role model for, I think, tenacity, hard work, perseverance, and faith.
Thank you. I had a grandmother like that too. And it was wonderful. Yes. She told me, she said, oh, it's easy to be beautiful when you're young. But as you grow older, she said, it's the beauty inside you that shows up. Yes.
Yeah. And that's what I always remember from what my grandmother had been telling me. And when she passed, well, when I was younger, I used to rebel against her because I thought she was so strict. and she wouldn't let us enjoy life. And so that's why I decided to settle down very early, like a teenager, because I didn't like the way she trained me. I thought she was so strict. But as I became a single mom and I started to fend for my family, I just subconsciously noticed that I was replicating what my grandmother had been modeling since I was young.
Yes, we do model those people in our lives without even realizing it, don't we?
Yes, you're right. So, it seems like everything is on a subconscious level.
Yes. My grandmother was very strict about certain things, and she was very strict about how you had dinner with people, for example. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Like,
you know that one. Yeah, the table had to be set a certain way.
yes.
Yes, yes, and
What knives to use, what
yes,
spoon to use,
yes,
what
everything.
what fork to use,
How to use
what
the
glass
napkin.
to use. Yeah.
Yes, and what to say. She said, "Do not discuss
Uh-huh.
politics or religion over the dinner table." And the interesting thing is, while my grandmother was born in the late 1800s, right? What she had to say is still good today, right? The idea that you have
Yes. It's,
tolerance and politeness, and that you have a way to have a dinner with clients.
correct.
Yeah.
And it's good to be classy, because if you're classy, you can go anywhere all over the world and don't get out of place.
And you have
Yeah,
them
it's good to have
everywhere.
it's good to have all these foundations. And this is what I tell my children and my nephews and nieces, that they might be living in this kind of environment, like fast food generation. But I still, I still once in a while bring them to 5-star hotels for them to be able to experience um, the lifestyle that we used to have. Nowadays we don't anymore like set the table the way grandmas would set the table. We would only have basic, like spoon, fork, knife, glass, and that's all. We eradicated all the other forks and all the other spoons.
Yes and no. I have been fortunate enough to inherit my grandmother's set of silverware, right? And
Mhm.
and when I have company over, and I will when COVID is over, right? I set the table the way she would have, and everyone just sort of melts around the table. Oh my goodness! Oh
Oh my
yes,
God.
and
Candles. Yeah.
so
And
the
the cloth table napkins, the cloth. Okay,
yes,
we don't use anymore. We just use like the disposable.
the disposable. But one of the things about using these traditional items is that we connect with history, and people seem to really
Mhm.
appreciate it, that you've done that kind of work for them, because it is work, let's face it, and have
Yeah, yeah.
sit with you and enjoy it. It
Mhm.
changes uh, the tone of the conversation and the ability
Yeah.
to interact
Mhm.
across
Mhm.
cultures, does it not?
Yes, it is. It is. You
Yeah.
know why? You know why? I think the reason why we've been collaborating on and off since 2009.
Yes.
You know, why we gel? It's because I think it's on a subconscious thing. You are so gracious. You are so sweet and so charming, and I like you so much because you resemble some of my relatives, like grandmother, mother, you know. Yeah. You're a Southern, you know, Filipino Hispanics actually gel well with Southern Americans,
I love it.
Southerners.
Southerners. I love it.
Because you're like classic. You have this spirituality. Yeah, we do. Okay, we have this spirituality, and then of course we were trained to study well and to be hardworking like you, and to be principled and to grow up with moral values, and we're kind of classy too. And maybe that's why we, like on and off. Deborah, before this interview, I was contemplating, and I was thinking, like, when I started, Deborah was already there, and there were people who was with her, and they're all gone. Some of them I removed, some of them removed me, and I was editing the book. It's now called Waltopia Generation. This is the sequel of the one that you edited before, and you uploaded. And I was looking at all those faces and eradicating all those faces, and I only so I only have one now, which is you in my Waltopia generation. And well, of course, like the old clients are still there. I'm well indebted to all of them, and of course my pioneering teachers, I'm indebted to all of them. But one thing that struck me was that your loyalty, like you'd seen me, right, since 2009, like like rise and fall, rise and fall, rise and fall, rise and fall, all the mistakes, and then okay, and then here I go again, and trying new things and innovating new things. And I was thinking, like, okay, only Deborah actually only Deborah had stuck beside me, had stayed beside me in spite of all those. And so I said, she really needs, like she needs recognition too, for being my role model, for being my indirect coach, for being by my side all the time. So I said, okay, so I've got two more people for you who will be organizing seminars for you here. Okay. I was okay. Well, this is supposed to be like the end part of this interview. Architect Yumang and I, we are. Well, he actually formed. Well, I forgot the name. Okay, I wrote it here, but well, I think I already had mentioned this in passing. Okay, I already had mentioned this in passing before. Okay, architect Ronnie Yumang, he's a president of InnoVision. It's an, architect in business. It is like an institute, a training institute for architects in business. And well, I should thank him. Well, this is supposed to be at the end, but okay, anyways, you're included. I recommended you, and yeah, he said, I will introduce you to him, and you might be teaching cultural diversity management. Yes, and I'll be teaching PR and marketing and social media management.
The two go together very well, do they not?
Yeah, and then
if you're going to market things and you're going to look for a huge market, then you're going to have to look at the cultures that you're marketing to, right? And understand how they work, and understand how individuals see and perceive what you're saying. And you and I have looked at that over the years in many different ways. And one of my favorites was when we worked with the African, our African mentees, when we were looking at the Rotary Club. And one thing
I'm going back. I'm going back. I'm going. Oh, okay, this time not.
I love it. I was so
after COVID. After COVID.
Yeah, in Africa.
There's an NGO affiliated with the United Nations who wishes to collaborate with me. So I might be in Zambia after COVID.
And I think I told you that a young woman in Kenya named her daughter after me. Yeah, she named her Levine.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's sweet. This
I saw,
work, it's
yeah.
true, it's work, but you and I both know
Mhm.
that even though it has many, many challenges, that it is also a joy and a labor of love.
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely. Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What has
it's
been your
it's
biggest
true.
challenge in doing this work?
My biggest challenge. I can't remember. I really don't. I think I think everything was challenging. I think everything was challenging, but I was able to get away with things though. I was able to get away with things.
You've done well. You've done
Yeah, everything's challenging. I made
everything
a lot
is
of mistakes. Can
challenging.
you imagine? Can you imagine? I mean, I was the only one who used to, have this tutorial institute here. I mean, way back in Yahoo chat room, I didn't even know that this is going to explode. And I was just doing it by myself alone. And then it just grew and grew and grew and grew. And, the biggest challenge was that I had a business that I love so much. But then it grew because when I started teaching, because I was passionate about it, so it grew and grew and grew. The problem was I was alone, and then I was too young to lead a huge group of teachers, and then I didn't know what leadership was, and that's why I had to be with a leadership group for a mentor, and then I didn't know how to manage, and so that was really totally a wreck. But
I was one of your teachers.
no, you were not. You trained my teachers.
Oh my goodness.
You trained my teacher on cultural diversity management
Yeah.
before we expanded because we started teaching Koreans. And then when we were about to expand to Brazil, Argentina, Italy,
Yeah,
like the northern, yeah. Okay, so then you trained my teachers on cultural diversity.
that was fun. It was a pleasure.
Or
And they
they love
were
it.
from all over, and it was great. And I know that you have learned so much in your journey as an entrepreneur. What would you tell a young person starting out? What advice would you give them?
Know yourself. Know yourself. Know your passion. And once you had established yourself, you should focus and make sure that you're earning money from your passion. Because if you're passionate about doing something and you're not earning anything out of your passion, then uh, I don't know what's going to happen to your life.
Good point. Good point. Well, thank you
Yes,
so much because I think people need
Deborah,
to hear
a
that.
lot of young a lot of young people now who are in social media doing gaming, and 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 at the end of the day, they still don't have any means for them to get by, and they're still depending on their parents to get by. So, well, make sure that your passion yields you some money to get by, and not only to get by, but your passion. Okay, you start with money to get by, but in the long run, you should work on your passion leading you to relevance, and from relevance to significance. And once you reach the level of relevance and significance, money will just run after you. I think I it's okay, you will not have to worry about COVID. You will not have to worry about any situation, because there will always be people who will be needing your help, because career is, or job or business is actually basically just a way of helping people. So if you have your way of helping people, then a lot of people will come to you or go to you for help. And of course, you will not be giving your services for free, because you're not a social worker, you're a business person. And you should not undervalue your services. You should know your worth. So it is good for you to have a business coach. Well, I have, like Deborah coaches me in some of the things that I do. I do have other coaches, and you always have to empower yourself, educate. You have to innovate. You have to be flexible. You have to be disciplined. That's the key. You have to be very, very disciplined. You have to take care of your body, physically. I mean, it's not, like for the women, they always tell me, oh, okay, it's okay. I don't exercise because you know, I just want to be this. I said, it's not about being sexy or something. It's about, it's about being healthy. It's about being healthy. So, you have to have regimen, like daily exercise, and then read books. And for women, stop gossiping. So, you know, yeah, I mean, when we sometimes, like when friends come and they go like, okay, they talk about complaining about husband, complaining about expenses, complaining about kids. And instead of complaining, why should we not talk about solutions to those problems and make it, like make our conversations productive? And so because what you say is what you get. What you say, the power of the spoken word, right? So yeah, the many things that we need to learn as young people, but basically we have to start with passion, education, and practicality. Again, make sure you're earning from your passion. Second, because if you're earning from your passion, you will be able to enrich yourself, not only financially, because your finances will enrich you also spiritually, intellectually, will enrich you socially. Well, money is not evil. It's actually how you spend your money.
Thank you so much. I'm taking notes. Good job.
My mentor.
Oh, I love it. You did.
My mentor.
Oh my goodness. It's such a pleasure to hear you talk, and I know you do a lot of presentations for young people, and you are a great teacher. And so all of you out there, our audience, I hope you're paying attention, because this means you, yes. So go out there, exercise, eat right, be persistent.
Physically and intellectually, pray or meditate, spiritually connect to your creator. um, yeah, okay, because another thing that you need to learn, we all need to learn, is being intuitive. Intuition is a, intuition is an equation to wisdom. Like learn, evaluated experience, knowledge plus intuition. You put them all together and you've got wisdom.
Wisdom indeed. Yes. One of the things that I've done in creating my sort of neuroscience basis for cultural understanding, right, is to look at the basis of wisdom and how you acquire that and how you deploy it. And with that, I think we'll start to wrap up and send people to different links to follow up. Do you have a website or a link that you'd like to share?
Oh, link. Actually, okay, I'm just going to, maybe I will start thanking people first. Those who had helped me during this new normal. Okay, I should be thanking Bench Valio. He's a publisher. I mean, he is, and he is the head of operations for Asia, um, and co-publisher of Hollywood Weekly magazine, where a portion of this interview will be written in there. Okay, maybe second week of April, and you will be writing the introduction of this. Okay, and then I'd like to thank also Control Devices CDA ProAv under Dalric Group of Companies Australia for a very challenging job they offered me, and well, which I am enjoying very much. And yeah, let me let me just tell you a story about this a little bit. I should thank him because I was trapped here, right? My itinerary for last year was supposed to be Philippines will be my second stop, and then after the Philippines, I'll go back to Korea for a month, and then to 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 China, and then to India, and then to Russia, and then back to the Philippines. So, but it didn't happen. So I was trapped here April. So second day I was trapped. I told God that I'm not really worried because I know that there'll be someone who's gonna give me a job here. So I I went to like I've got list of connections, a lot of them, and I said, who among these people can give me a job? And then I remember I said, I remember this Australian guy in 2018. I sent him a proposal to train his employees in Australia, but he said like we will discuss further after my trip to China. I went to China 2018, right? I think, yeah, 2018 or 2019. Okay, anyways, but I forgot all about him because I think I got another offer. So I got another offer, so I forgot all about him. So, anyways, I just tried. I thought that was it was a dead uh, dead connection. But anyways, I just tried and said, "Hi, how are you?" And then immediately replied and then said, "Hey, how are you?" Blah blah blah. And then I said, "I need a job. I was trapped here and I couldn't travel." And then he said, email me your bio data." And that's what I was telling them. Gather all the credentials that you can so that, when the time comes, you'll be very competitive. And people will just hire you by one email. And then he went through my bio data and he said, "Oh, coincidentally, I need someone for the Philippines. So you do this, that, 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 that." In 2 days, I got a job. And I don't devalue my services, my professional services. So he said, "How much?" And I told him, "How much?" And then he said, he haggled a bit. So I said, "Yeah, it's home based, so fine." And just 2 days ago, he added another assignment for me. And you don't need to worry, even if, like crisis time, if you're ready, if you're whole, you really don't need to worry about your life because everything is taken care of. Okay, so I already had thanked architect Ronnie Yumang, the president of Vision, and he's okay for including me in his roster of trainers. I'll be teaching PR and marketing and social media management in Vision. You will also be teaching cultural diversity management. Okay, I should also thank architect June Palafox for the interview he accorded me. It was an honor. He is actually an activist architect here, and he's very well known, very popular, and well loved. And he owns one of the biggest architectural firms in this country. He's also an international lecturer. I'd like also to thank architect Ed Sarao for during my introductory days, with my job with this Australian firm. He endorsed me to some of his architect friends, and he's a kind of influential person here. So I'd like to thank him for lending me his reputation. I'd like to thank also Dr. Nila Villaver, from the Department of Education of the Philippines for organizing webinars for the Dep Ed teachers. And I enjoyed running how to become a teacher of influence during the new normal. I just taught them how like how to look better and how to project themselves, how to deliver lessons online. And yeah, my life is full of serendipitous situations. And there's one chapter of my book that what do you call that? Like I dedicated for all the serendipitous situations that I encountered during my life. I mean, uh, my business and my life, and how people, in social media had helped me out with my career. So I also met another guy from, in one of those social media platforms. His name is Dave, and he's from Pennsylvania. And he he's just so amazing because he has this ability to spot minute details and makes necessary suggestions to improve my contents both aesthetically and linguistically. And he's just so amazing because he's an engineer and he can spot, he can relate with what we were doing, Deborah. So I think he deserves credit. I even gave him credit also for my book. All right, the Wealthopia generation. You should need to see that also. The Wealthopia generation will be launched maybe 2 to 3 weeks from now. I'll be mailing it over to Beth for the layouting, and so it might be uploaded in Amazon maybe 2 to 3 weeks from now.
Great. Well, I'm so glad to hear that. Everything is coming out in April, I guess, and we'll look forward to it. Oh my goodness, yes. And oh my, I don't know what to say except that there's a good reason why I married an engineer, because it does give you an incredible technology and detailed person on your side. So we're going to wrap up.
Really?
Hmm? Yes.
Your
So
husband is an engineer.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up, so I didn't hear that. We'll get back to you soon when we have time. We'll ask you to come back later in the year so that you can report to us how everything went when all of this comes to pass. So thank you so much, and thank you, audience, for joining us. I'm sure that you will be looking forward to our next podcasts. So stay tuned. We greatly appreciate having you on board